Welcome to Pop Recaps. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful day, and let's begin.
Warning, spoiler alert.
The movie Half-Baked begins with four childhood friends. Thurgood, Kenny, Brian, and Scarface discover the highs of marijuana. They grow up hanging out together and live in an apartment in New York City. Thurgood, a custodian at a pharmaceutical research lab, orders some weed from Samson, the famous local dealer. A bike messenger delivers it to the apartment. And the four perform a smoking ritual with Billy Bong Thornton, the bong. During the smoke, they send Kenny, a gentle kindergarten teacher, on a munchies run. Kenny sees a police horse and starts feeding it. The horse is a diabetic and drops dead. Kenny is arrested for accidentally killing a diabetic police horse by feeding it junk food. The judge sentences him to jail with a bail set at $1 million. Thurgood and the guys are forced to devise a way to raise $1 million to bail Kenny out before Nasty Nate and other prisoners take advantage of his gentle nature. While visiting him in prison, Thurgood meets Mary Jane Potman and starts flirting with her. Mary Jane offers the friends a ride home, and Thurgood gives her his number. Thurgood gets asked one day by a scientist at the research lab to get a pound of cannabis from the supplies department, and freaks out when he realizes what the scientist had him get. The grateful scientist thanks Thurgood for the good deed by giving him some free weed. Thurgood brings it home, and the three friends get extremely high. They get so high that they begin levitating out the window. They fly over the city and decide to see how Kenny is doing in prison. Kenny is slowly losing it, and is talking to himself in the mirror. Scarface gets the idea to have Thurgood steal medical marijuana from his work, so that the three of them can sell it to raise money to free Kenny. Meanwhile, Thurgood and Mary Jane go on a date. They fall in love with each other and start pursuing a romantic relationship, which is strained by Thurgood having to conceal his marijuana smoking from her as she detests drugs. The weed sales go through the roof, and customers from all walks of lives partake, including local celebrity Sir Smoke-A-Lot. Brian and Scarface leave their jobs to spend more time selling and raising money for Kenny. Thurgood tries to stay righteous, as Brian and Scarface start spending their profits. Meanwhile, Mary Jane dumps Thurgood when she finds out he's been dealing drugs. Days go by. Missing her dearly, Thurgood stops by Mary Jane's apartment and he promises to stop smoking to win her back. Thurgood signs up for rehab, but is instantly ridiculed by his class of hardcore drug addicts, as they deem smoking weed to be a recreational activity. The success of the marijuana business grows enough to raise the displeasure of local drug kingpin Samson Simpson. He sends his crew over to trash the apartment and kill Scarface's pet, Killer the dog. The friends hold a funeral ceremony and bury Killer under a tree box. He demands a meeting with the guys and extorts them for $20,000 a week. The guys plan a robbery of the pharmaceutical laboratory to increase their earnings, enough to fend off both Samson and free Kenny, but are arrested when they try to make a getaway. Thurgood strikes a deal with the police to set up Samson. He wears a wire to a meeting with Samson in exchange for freeing Kenny and dropping the charges against him and his friends. The cops allow them to get high in the van before the deal. They shortly arrive at Samson's mansion and try to get him to sell cocaine to them, but ultimately get caught trying to signal for the detectives, who are extremely high, to arrive as backup. However, Thurgood and the guys are able to take out Samson's knife-wielding henchwomen, and Brian summons the ghost of Jerry Garcia to finally defeat Samson. The police detectives arrive soon after to take credit and arrest Samson and his henchwomen, while Thurgood and the guys get to go home. Kenny is finally let out of prison and celebrates with the guys. Thurgood reunites with Mary Jane the next day, telling her he's giving up marijuana for good and want to get back together. The film ends with their reuniting. Thanks for watching. If you like to see more of this content, please subscribe and turn on your notifications. Have a wonderful day.